Hello, this is Lyssa Adkins, Coach of Agile Coaches, and I am very happy to be here with Jeffrey Davidson today. Hello, Jeffrey.
Hello, I'm delighted to be with you and the multitudes of people who are watching today.
He has been cracking me up. I will tell you, we had a little bit of a conversation before we started this video, and we've been laughing, so I hope you guys will laugh with us. So Jeffrey's going to tell us a bit about his background, but in a nutshell, this is how an experienced Agile coach takes the next step in their Agile coaching journey. Yeah, so that's the persona or the profile that Jeffrey is bringing to us today. Give us some background info.
I have been doing Agile for 7 or 8 years. Some of it really in depth. I've really jumped down deep into parts of Agile around analysis and product ownership and testing. I'm not a developer, so I've not touched that area at all. Mm-hmm. When I go as part of a team, the team looks to me with respect, and I help them work through problems. The last couple of years, I've been actively training brand new teams on how to go Agile. I've done coaching where I'm respected by executives or product owners in the team. They seem to appreciate my input. Other coaches come to me with questions, which is all makes me feel very good. And yet inside, I wonder if I'm missing something. I have years of facilitation training to help me learn how to deal with some issues, but I don't have a coaching framework. So I'm winging it just a little bit on a regular basis, and I want to make the biggest and best impact I can. I really want to enable people and the teams. I don't know what I don't know. There's frameworks. There's ORISC or coactive or integral. There's stuff that you and Michael Spade are doing. Well, I don't know what I should do next, though.
Yeah, cool. So let me just level set for us and for anyone who's watching. So given that you have years of facilitation experience, there's kind of like, I guess, 2 broad sets of learning objectives I think about, or a learning path I think about. One is a deep dive into facilitation, and then the other is more of a look at the whole job of doing Agile coaching, which does include a big slice of professional coaching. So those same skills that you're talking about with the coactive framework or the ORISC, which is Organizational Systems Relationship Coaching Framework.
Now, I don't know what those are. I just know they exist.
Yeah, no, I'm totally with you. I do know what they are. I've been through both of those courses, and I'm actually certified as a professional coach in the second one, ORISC. So, and they're extremely useful. So for someone like you who's had years of facilitation experience, I'm betting you're actually a pretty good listener and open question asker. Is that right?
People tell me I am.
Yeah, okay, well, let's just go with that then. Let's assume they know the impact you have on them. So those are the foundational professional coaching skills no matter which coaching school you go to. Listening fully, there's lots of different names for it, doesn't really matter, but listening fully, asking powerful questions, and managing yourself so that you can stay neutral on the content when you need to.
I'm usually good at that. Every so often there's a hot button and I'm...
Well, yeah, we all have our triggers, and also as an Agile coach, we don't use just strictly professional coaching skills, period. We use professional coaching skills in the context of our Agile work, and sometimes we do have an agenda as an Agile coach. Professional coaching would have, if you really did it purely, you would give up the agenda completely, and it would just be the person in front of you or the team in front of you what their agenda was, right? So we do a little mixture there. Now, when I went to professional coaching school, I think the schools I went to are phenomenal. And the problem I had was that I then had to translate what I was learning in those schools to my work as an Agile coach. And that was a pretty painful, not painful, just maybe a long process, right?
Sure.
And so one of the things we did at Agile Coaching Institute pretty early on was that we came out with our Coaching Agile Teams class, which I actually would suggest to you, because that has a framework called the Agile Coaching Competency Framework in it, which will help you answer exactly the question you were asking before, like, I'm doing this and people seem to like it, but I don't know what I don't know, and I don't have a framework to be conscious about it, about choices. Right, so that's one piece. Also, that class really teases apart the difference between professional coaching and mentoring, and helps you understand when it's appropriate to be a consultant or a mentor, and when professional coaching might be a better route to go. So that's a piece I would offer. And then in addition, for someone like yourself who already knows that professional coaching is at least interesting, or maybe you even think it could really, really help because you've already been looking at professional coaching schools, those schools are fantastic to go to. And before you go to those, you may want to come to our class called The Coaching Stance. The Coaching Stance. We created it with people in the professional coaching world. And so it teaches you the very same foundational coaching skills you would get in the, out there in those really good schools, but in the Agile context. So all the scenarios are Agile scenarios. All of the questions and answers are around Agile. You're not coaching someone on losing weight or getting along with their teenager.
Yeah.
Which is useful skills, but then harder to translate, right?
Yeah.
So that's the place I would suggest for you. Honestly, first the Coaching Agile Teams class, so you can start to pull apart the 8 different knowledge areas and skill sets of an Agile coach. And then I don't know. For you, I could go either way. Like, you might want to go straight to the coaching stance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I like the idea that you're saying there's a definite difference between how we work with teams and individuals, and sometimes it's more coaching, which is going in with less of an agenda and helping them reach potential. And part of it is help them understand the Agile framework that we're also trying to help them achieve success at. Why is it more important to start with that than the stance?
Well, it was the thing that you said to me before we started recording, which was that you're an accomplished consultant, and you know that a lot of what you're doing is consulting, which is more telling the answer, which is totally appropriate in many cases. And there's a whole separate toolkit.
And I like that you basically give me permission that what I'm doing is okay.
Absolutely.
That it's okay to do some telling.
Yeah, totally. I mean, Agile coaches need to do some telling. Yeah, absolutely. And the Coaching Agile Teams class gives you the experience of learning those foundational coaching skills and then learning a new mentoring model or consulting model that you might not have known before. And then you actually practice those back to back with people in the room. And you feel the difference in yourself. It's not only like you get a textbook definition, like you feel it, and you are then able to better choose which is appropriate in the situations you're going to face in real life.
So it's really experiential learning then.
Oh my gosh, yeah. The Coaching Agile Teams, actually all of our classes are built on a transformational education platform that we learned from the professional coaching world, actually. And they are, it's beyond experiential. If you go look at Agile Coaching Institute and click on our impact and read what students say about our classes, it's not at all an exaggeration to say transformational, because that's what they say.
Okay.
Yeah, cool stuff.
You've spurred a couple questions.
Okay,
I'll try to remember them all. First is, how big a difference might this make? The correct answer, of course, is huge. But,
yeah, well, I would have you look at your own experience and look at the places where you felt like the results weren't what you hoped for, or they were great but they didn't stick. And places where you encountered resistance, or people confused, or people seem to think they're completely clear but they don't actually move into action.
Okay.
So if any of that stuff sounds familiar,
I can't imagine where it doesn't.
Then what we have to offer you in both of the classes I mentioned, Coaching Agile Teams and Coaching Stance, are probably your first stops. Coaching Agile Teams also goes into conflict and how you can make conflict a team issue, not you being the resolver or the tiebreaker or the mediator. Which tends to be a big eye-opener for people. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So it sounds like, I want to paraphrase some of what you said,
sure.
that you did say there's like 8 different competency areas that you guys have defined. As an Agile coach?
As someone doing Agile coaching, yeah.
Okay. So it helps define what those areas are for me, so that way when I'm aware that they're all there and I'm not missing 2,
Yeah.
And helps helps me get the team through conflict, helps them to get them to understand a little bit more, and helps it stick.
Yeah.
So that they're acting and it's
theirs.
Keep on acting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the deal. Now, you don't have to wait to come to class to find out what those 8 are. If you go to agilecoachinginstitute.com and click on resources on the right, there's a little diagram that shows the 8 areas, and we even have starter resources for each of the 8. And there's a white paper about it even. And
Sure.
A few years ago, we participated in the creation of a learning path, a set of learning objectives, which are housed on icagile.com. They're Creative Commons. Everyone is meant to use them, but they happen to be housed there because IC Agile pulled the working group together, which was very nice of them. And those eventually became organized by these same 8 areas. So, so it's become kind of ubiquitous in our world, this Agile coaching competency framework.
Okay.
Yeah.
It sounds like the whole idea, my whole concept, because part of my question is, should I go down the path of ORSC or coactive or integral or something else, is that this can help me with the basics now, and I presume from then I can determine, I can look at those with a fresh light to say, here's the area that interests me.
Absolutely.
Or here's the area I think would help my clients or something else.
Yeah. So especially if you take the coaching stance, with coaching Agile teams before or not, but if you take the coaching stance, that will prepare you to go directly into ORSC. If you're like on fire with this and you love it, you're like, man, I want to immerse in professional coaching, then you would have the base set of skills to be able to go into ORSC, because you have to be able to do some individual coaching.
Okay.
It's a much more advanced professional coaching skill set, because it's about coaching the team entity, not all the little individuals in a team, but the team as an entity.
Yes.
Really powerful, cool stuff. It's what I'm certified in. I love it.
Okay.
But the coaching stance I would suggest to you as a way to see what grabs you.
Sure.
Now, you mentioned integral. So you're gonna get integral Agile if you come to coaching Agile teams. Integral Agile is just a framework for looking at any situation more holistically so that you can craft your interventions more carefully. Okay? And Integral Agile is what Michael Spade is bringing to our Agile community. There's been a community of integralists out there for a long time now. They have really useful models. Michael is plopping them into our Agile world and contextualizing them for Agile, just like we brought professional coaching into the Agile world and we contextualize it for Agile, right?
Okay.
So there's not an either or with that. The Coaching Agile Teams class has Integral Agile as its foundational skeleton, as one of its skeletons.
Good.
Yeah.
For me, I like learning through classes. I've got bookshelves and bookshelves.
Yep.
Like behind you, there's bookshelves. And as much as I love books, I've come to realize that I don't always learn best from books.
Yeah.
So I love the idea of a class because it's interactive. I love the conversation, but I'm a great conversational learner. So is there support for post-class that I have people I can talk with and learn from and have conversations with?
Yeah. There are lots of options. So what we do for everyone who takes our classes is that we invite them into an ACI alumni-only virtual community. So only people who have taken our classes are there. It's a very supportive place. If you want to, get a practice partner to practice giving impact feedback or a certain coaching skill, you'll just go there. Boom, you'll have someone from Sweden. You'll get on Skype. You'll practice. It'll be great.
Okay.
So that's one thing. Everyone gets that. Also, we're just about to launch in a few months our first mentoring group. Now, this is a group geared around the learning objectives that IC Agile working group created that Michael Spade and I are both part of, to really, really drill and practice the stuff you learned in coaching Agile teams and also the Agile facilitator class, which you might be able to comp out of given your long-standing facilitation, expertise, right? So that is a 6-month program on the phone every other week for 90 minutes, doing a skill drill, seeing expert demos, getting expert consults, homework in between. You're part of a really tight-knit group of people who are all learning together.
That sounds pretty intense.
Oh my God, yes. It's very much on the model of how professional coaching certification works. because I've been through that model myself, and I know it's just where it's where I learned to become a good professional coach, honestly. Because the classroom learning is wonderful, but your real life ain't like that when you get back. And you got to have something to help you bring it into the integration, into the integration. So that once you go through that program, I mean, that is tons of support, like more than you were even wanting maybe. But I offer it to you because that is the sort of thing that's really going to build people's skills and make them really crystal clear about what they're doing and why.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yes. I have a whole new question.
Okay.
This hadn't occurred.
Okay.
What can go wrong when people don't have the right background? In other words, what danger am I potentially inducing?
Well, knowing you just a little bit, you're probably not inducing much danger or harm. Because you already have enough empathy and emotional intelligence in general to notice what's going on. Many Agile coaches are so well-meaning and don't know when they're bulldozing humans. They don't know. So that's a little bit of the harm, which is not like the worst thing in the world, probably, for most people. I think the bottom line is that we're missing a huge part of the upside. I mean, to me, Agile is just not delivering what we wanted it to. I mean, we all have great fantasies in our minds about how amazing Agile can be and all of this sort of stuff, and it can, because we've all seen glimpses of it at some point.
But on the ground, it doesn't happen every day.
It doesn't, and so often I'm like, if people just do what we teach them, it would be a whole lot better. Because I am telling you, how we got good at this at Agile Coaching Institute was that we did what our teachers told us to do. That's how we learned to be good Agile coaches. That's how we learned to create these frameworks and these models for people. And so there's just a lot of upside to find. And I think especially now that Agile, the norm is Agile moving out beyond the team level into the wider organization, that's just way more of a complex situation than a few years ago when the job was getting teams up and running.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think the upside is my answer to you on that. Great upside.
Okay. Good.
Yeah. So I'm noticing we're at 17 minutes. Any last words you want to say? Or let me just even ask, did this scratch the itch? Did this help you?
This did scratch the itch because
Okay.
part of it was I didn't know where I should focus on to begin with.
Yeah.
I had enough experience to know that this is a great next step. But
Yeah.
where do I go?
Yeah.
And I didn't know how to compare the coaching stance versus coaching Agile teams.
Yeah, totally. I totally get that. And there's the descriptions of courses are so long; it's really hard to ferret it out for yourself.
Sure.
I get that. And you didn't talk about certifications. You probably don't care about them, but I just want to mention that our classes participate with certifications at Scrum Alliance and IC Agile and PMI if you happen to have their Agile certifications. So we're agnostic about certifications. We're really focused on the learning path. But we know, for some people, certifications make a difference. So.
And I don't mind if people need certifications.
Yeah.
I need to make a difference.
Yeah.
That's what.
Yeah, your focus is in a different place. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right, sir. Any parting words to our audience of millions who will finally watch this? It probably won't be millions.
Well, tens of thousands.
Tens of thousands, maybe.
One, deep thank you. For Lyssa for making the time. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I came to you with a question because I have friends and colleagues who've taken a class from you and have some of the certifications I mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard different people say, "Oh, Jeffrey, this would be great for you, or that would be great for you," but I don't know enough to know where to go next. So I said, "Hey, let's reach out to the expert," and that was you.
Thanks.
Thanks for that. And I understand more now about what you've done in trying to facilitate or modify the frameworks to help an Agile team and help an Agile coach. And that sounds really cool because I can imagine, I know enough about frameworks to know that modifying it for the situation can be extremely difficult and time consuming. it's not going to break your head or it's not going to break the team, but you've already gone through that work. So thanks for offering it to us.
Yeah, I don't want anyone to have to go through the pain I went through.
So thanks.
Bottom line. You bet. Thanks, Jeffrey. You've been a doll.